For Lab 3, we're doing a particle size distribution with the samples that we took from the rain garden. So, for Lab 1, everybody took loose soil samples. So we're going to use this to determine the percent sand, silt, and clay. And to start off, we're going to sieve our soil. We only need about 20 grams. Alright, so we sieved that through a 2mm sieve. And now what we need to do is we need to weigh out 10 grams to put in the oven overnight and then weigh it the next morning so that we have our oven dried soil. The next 10 grams of soil is going to be used to determine the percent sand, silt, and clay. So you take the sieved soil, weigh out 10 grams, pour that 10 grams of soil into the mixing cup. Then we're going to add a dispersing agent to the soil to separate the clay and the silt and the sand. We're going to mix it for 15 minutes. So this is the dispersing agent. It is 10% sodium metaphosphate. We only need about 10 mils. You pour the dispersing agent directly into the mixing cup. And then we're going to put it on the mixer, and I'm going to add DI water slowly until it comes up to about halfway, and we're going to mix it for 15 minutes. Now that the soil's mixed for 15 minutes, you're going to pour it through a .005 millimeter mesh sieve, and this will take out all the sand in your sample. So all that's getting through here is your silt and your clay. You're going to want to rinse the cup out. Now once you've filtered out all your sand and your clay and your silt, what you have left up here is the sand. So to determine your percent sand, we're going to rinse this out into a pre-weighed beaker. This will be put in the oven overnight, and the next morning you'll weigh it, and that will determine how many grams of sand you have in your soil. To determine the percent silt and the percent clay, you take the filtrate, pour it into a 1,000 ml graduated cylinder, and fill it up to 1,000 mils with DI water. After you mix the soil in the graduated cylinder, you're going to wait at least 7 hours, come back, and you will be able to determine the percent clay. So after 7 hours, all the silt in your sample will have settled to the bottom of the graduated cylinder, and all your clay will be left in suspension. To determine the clay content, we're going to pipette up 10 mils of just the water, the solution that holds the clay. Now you want to take this, weigh it, put it in the oven overnight, take it out, and weigh it again, and that'll give you your grams of clay in your sample. And we did a procedure for texture by feel. So what you're able to do is you're able to specifically calculate the percent sand, silt, and clay in your sample. Then you can use the attached texture triangle to figure out the texture of your sample. But you can also do this by feel. And the way we do that, you don't use the sieved soil. You want to use just your regular soil, unsieved. And we do it using a ball and ribbon technique. If you want to get any of the rocks out. And so what you do is you get a golf ball size sample of soil, and you want to wet it. You don't want it to become soup. You don't want it to be too dry. It needs to kind of start to feel like Play-Doh in your hand. And what we're looking to see is if it creates a substantial ribbon. If a sample has a lot of clay in it, it'll stick together, and then you'll be able to form a large ribbon. But as you can see, this sample does not have a lot of clay. It's very, very gritty, so you can feel the sand in there, and then it's not sticking together. So if this had clay in it, you would see a ribbon come out, and it would stay together for about 2 inches. But here, we're barely able to get any type of cohesive ribbon. So you would use the chart that's in the back of your lab, and you would look to see if you made no ribbon, a weak ribbon, moderate ribbon, or strong ribbon, which is greater than 2 inches. We had about a weak ribbon. In the soil, you could just pick it up and do this, and you can just hear the sand. It feels very, very gritty. So we had one that was very gritty with a weak ribbon, so we would call this a sandy loam.